All right, welcome back, everybody. Aligning with success. I don't have my phone. Where's my phone? I think it's the 8th. Is it the 8th or the 9th today? It's the 8th, May 8th. Wow, can you believe how fast time is flying these days? We're already in May. We have attendees, winners of the Team Kaizen, who are going to be going this month. What's your date of departure? I think it's the 18th. Yeah,
The
Paul?
18th, yeah.
How long are you away?
We're away. Team Kaizen we leave on the 25th. The Japanese contest winners leave on the 24th, and the Team Taishi people leave on the 27th.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow. That's going to be a great trip. I'm telling you, if you haven't been, I know some of you may have been to Japan already, but I'll tell you, one of my favorite places in the entire world is Japan. I love the culture. I love everything about it. Look for the details. I mean, there's so many details that are so impressive. Everything from toothpicks that look like they were, hand carved or something. It's just insane. To just the service, the attention to detail and service is impeccable. I think probably the standard in the world for service. And it's no surprise then that we would have a company that focuses on, the details of wellness for others, and that's our sort of our mandate, is to be of service to others. See some new faces. Hi, Angie. I don't know if we've met. Have we met?
Hi, we've met online.
Oh, we have. Okay. You're just in the shadows there a little bit, but nice to see you again. Anyway, I wanted to share a few concepts with you today. But before I do that, I want to share with you a little bit of a story. So I was in Barbados for 10 days. I just came back. And while I was there, I was actually shopping for a location, a venue to hold my 60th birthday party. And every night I was there, I was out with friends who I had not seen in 4 years. So there was a new grouping of friends almost every night. So I was catching up with all my friends there, and I have a lot of friends in Barbados. And I would tell them I was looking for a venue if there was something they maybe recommended, because they'd been there all their lives. And I told them I was, planning for my 60th birthday party. But when they heard my age was 60, they all were in shock. Not a single one of them weren't like, "What? You're how old?" And they're in their 40s, most of them. So I guess they always thought that I was much younger than I am. And they were really impressed with the fact that I didn't look my age. And they made a lot of comments about that, particularly my skin. And so I thought, you know what? I am one of these guys who has a secret that I shouldn't keep a secret. And that is that I have been using, for as long as it's been available, almost 20 years, and it's obviously advanced over time. I love this iteration the best, of the True Elements. I use two things every single day, right after I shower. I use the, I can't remember the name of this thing, the squirt. It's the serum, right? The little bottle, squirt. So I take about 3 drops. Well, my daughters tell me I use too much. I don't care. It's on auto ship, so it just comes and I use. So squirt, and I take that and I put it on the crow's nest, those parts there. Across my forehead, I have one of those lines, so I put it across the forehead, and then I want my cheeks to stay, somewhat taut. So I finish it off by rubbing it into my cheeks. That takes care of the serum. I do something else, whatever, brush my hair, whatever it is, while it dries, and then I take the face cream, and I use the palette to go, because you're not supposed to use your fingers in the face cream. I guess the oils from your skin taint it or whatever. I don't know. I'm told you to use the palette, so I use the palette, and that's all I've been ever doing, is using this palette. Put it in my hand, do this, and then do my entire hand. Of course, get my neck in there, because I want to keep my neck, nice and looking good. So I've been doing this without making any fanfare about it, without, ever talking about it, really. I maybe talked about it a few times on these calls, but you really appreciate things when other people notice. And I was getting a lot of attention, and it happened again yesterday. So yesterday I went to a charity event that a good friend of the family, particularly almost family in our culture, was hosting at his winery, his Vigneti Estates winery. And he had mentioned that he had run out of his stuff. So he asked me if I had any. So I brought one of each for him, just to have for him because it was a gift. And then he saw it was in a nice bag, and he thought, can I give this away as one of the things to give away for the raffle? It's up to you. I'm giving this to you as a gift, so you can do what you want with it. It's a good cause. Anyway, it ended up being raffled. But the comment that he made about my skin, again, was sort of that reminder that I thought, I got to tell people about this, because I may be the only guy in Nikken who actually is on auto ship on this stuff. And I think every guy ought to be on auto ship on this. Forget about it. Women, get your husbands. And I was saying this tonight on the French call, that, I've been doing this for like 20 years, however long it's been in production. I've been a patient, if you will, of this. And I'm pretty religious about it. And I think it's important that if you do get on this regimen, you stick to it. But I really think if you're considering, the next 5 years or the next 10 years of your life, how do you want to be perceived? How do you want to see, how do you want people to see you? Do you want them to see you look better than your age, or you want them to see that you look your age or even more tired than your age? And I was saying, I don't only use the skin protection, the product on my skin, which is the outer layer. I drink a lot of Nikken Pi water, which takes care of the hydration on the inner layer. You really need both to do the job. But I tell you this because I really think that auto ship is not only an important part of our business, but it's an important part of our lifestyle. And if you care at all about how you look and how people see you, especially if you're going to be in the wellness business, then I think it's an important statement to make, that you are a product of the product. And I personally can tell you, I've had this not just once, this has happened quite a bit to me, where people are super impressed with my skin. And I can't tell you anything I do different than anybody else, except I use the skin product religiously. And I only use those 2 items. I know there's other stuff and the women like the other stuff. I'm not into the fancy face scrubbing and whatever that other stuff is. I just know that the serum and the face cream is the thing that I've been using on auto ship ever since it was made available. And that's the only thing I can seem to be religious about. In fact, I'm even more religious with that than I am with my own nutritionals, believe it or not, for whatever reason. I think it's because it's part of the routine of after shower. Anyway, I say that because I think it's important that we become a company that has a greater sense of culture around auto ship. If you expect to have a business that's going to pay you on into the future, imagine every customer being a customer of auto ship. Now, in most network marketing companies, and if not all network marketing companies, that's all they have. Every product that they sell in pretty much every other network marketing company is an auto ship product. It's something that you put on auto ship. And when you join that company, the first thing you do is you put an auto ship. Your order for that company is an auto ship order. And it's a wonder that we haven't picked up on that ourselves and really played with that concept, because there's a tremendous amount of opportunity there. I know Nikken recognizes it, but we as business builders are a microcosm of Nikken, and we really ought to look at how this affects our business now and going forward. So number one, it affects how you feel and look and how others perceive you if you're simply utilizing some of these products, particularly the skin cream. But if you started to make that part of your Nikken culture in terms of when you acquire a customer or when you acquire a new consultant, that you make it as important for them to understand and to participate in auto ship as it would be a waterfall or anything else. And in fact, if you have a waterfall purchase, which is the primary product these days that we're presenting, why would you not put them on the auto ship immediately when they purchase their waterfall? Do they not want to use their waterfall three months from now? So it's obvious that, yes, that should be part and parcel of the process of enrollment. So I want you to start thinking about that, because I really think it's important we as a culture create a business and a business model that endorses, supports, and integrates auto ship as a matter of course. It's not a, oh, and by the way. No, it's not an oh, and by the way. Like I said, if we were any other network marketing company, it would be the only thing we were. The fact that we have high ticket, high touch, high technology products makes it really great to be innovative in the marketplace, and it makes it for great immediate upfront profits. But we're not building this just for today. We're building this for the long term, for the long haul. We want to have an income going on into our retirement years. And so that is only going to happen if people are purchasing, if we have repeat business. And that's going to only happen if we build a culture that we create those repeat customers. So beginning today, starting today, May 8th, 2023, make a note, dictate it. Tell yourself from this point forward, my business is a business that has customers for life. And they're not just one-time customers, they're customers for life, which means they're engaged with us in all that we have to offer where wellness is concerned. And AutoShip is part of what makes our wellness business and our wellness home viable. I mean, you guys pay for the lights, right, in your house? You pay for the heating bill, you pay for the electricity bill, you pay for the phone bill, the cable bill. These are the things that we pay for on a monthly basis to maintain our home. Well, what do we do to maintain our wellness home? That's our AutoShip. That's that AutoShip program. And the fact that Nikan has really upped the ante on that, I think is great. The fact that people can now, when they place an order, actually place an AutoShip order in their first go. You know, they don't have to set up a separate account. They don't have to do another entry. And that's all the more reason why we need to start looking at this as a business culture, that it becomes part of our culture. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. Dave, I know you probably have some thoughts about it. Do you want to jump in?
Well, yeah, I would. God, you look great, Michael. I love your skin.
Thank you.
I mean, it's just fabulous. What are you doing?
I have a secret, but I'm gonna share my secret with you.
Awesome story. I remember when we used to have those face masks that you put on your face. Love those things. Those were awesome. Especially if you went out in the sun, you got sunburnt, and you used those, then the olive.
Oh yeah, they were great relief.
In my experience over the years, a couple of things about AutoShip were very important. One, a third of my income came from AutoShip. I think that's really important. But here's who does the most AutoShip: distributors.
Yep.
So if you add in the other component of, you know, and it's all based on a very simple concept. It's that need to qualify to earn the check that you want to get for the production that's going on in your business. So you automatically do the AutoShip so you don't have to qualify, because many people have not qualified and lost a check because they weren't paying attention, they didn't understand what was going on, et cetera, and they didn't have a watchdog or somebody that was reminding them of those kind of situations. So I would couple that with, you know, recruit like crazy, and then it's an automatic that the majority of people on AutoShip are distributors.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, if you think about the cost of doing business, if qualification is part of what we need to do in order to earn an income, a bonus, then what better way to qualify than to make sure that you have your bases covered where your own personal needs are concerned? I mean, that ought to be the standard by which we measure our success story. You know, is my wellness home up to speed, up to date? I'm asking other people to join in on this thing. If I'm not even doing it myself, I'm supposed to be the advocate for it. Then it's like driving a Honda when you sell Mercedes. It's kind of a bit of a contradiction. Anyway, so what this actually feeds into is a conversation I wanted to have, which is about retention. If you can think for the second of all the customers you have, and right now we've got a great reason to get on the phone and let people know that it's time to renew their filter replacements, and there's a 20% discount on the filter replacements. But most importantly, utilize the time to help them set up their AutoShip account. That way, that automatic volume is going to happen without even giving any thought to it. So this is a good time to bring this up, but more importantly is to recognize it starts today. At some point, there has to be a beginning to this culture and a beginning to ongoing income that comes from repeat business. And retention is what keeps, like Dave said, a third of his income. I'm sure it's at least a third of my income. I like starting the month with volume, and I know that that's primarily the volume that's coming from auto ship. People placing the people's auto ship orders going through. I know mine is in the first 5 days of the month, every month. So that's one. Two, meet the qualifications. If you've got a handful of customers or so on auto ship, then the volume that's generated from that and subsequently the income that's generated from that pays for your own purchases. So you're pretty much getting your Niken products for free. So if you think of this as a business model, because this is what we really need to be thinking. If you're on this call tonight, it's not because you're a Niken customer. It's because you're a Niken business builder looking to improve your viability as a business. And so we need to start putting together what are the habits, the best practices of the most successful businesses in Niken. If I told you my auto ship order, you guys would freak out. But I'm telling you, it's every month without question, because I know what I'm doing. One of the things that I have on my auto ship, three of the things I have on my auto ship is, one is the power band for the neck and the 2 sizes for the wrist power bands. Now, why would I need that many power bands? Of course I don't. I use it as promotion. It's my way of getting the Niken logo out in circulation. Do you know all the waiters at my 3 favorite restaurants, which is about 7 minutes from my house? Everybody knows Mike DiMuccio. I'm their biggest, they're their biggest fan, because they all wear one of these things. And you know why they wear them? Because one guy had a problem with his wrist, Gary, who hurt his wrist. I gave him one of those bands, and he tells everybody, you know what, this thing might get 2 years, 3 years ago, I don't know when it was now. He lost it once when he went on vacation, freaked out, called me and said, oh, you're not going to believe this. I can't. And I said, don't worry, I got you covered. That's promotion. All of a sudden, what you have is a brand. You have awareness. People start to recognize you as the person who does that. And so that's an important thing for business. So I look at everything from that point of view. Everything that I do that's good for me is good for my business, and vice versa. So keep that in mind. You are now the proud owner of a business that can make you any number of dollars. You can set the limit as high as you want, but it's going to take a certain behavior, certain habits. And what we're trying to do is provide you with best habits. These are the things that make it work best for you. The other thing I wanted to talk about was duplication. So duplication, of course, is the key to our body being alive. Do you know how many cells are replicated every day in your body? How many hundreds of thousands of cells are replicated? Millions, actually, every single day. If that didn't happen, if the DNA sequence in our body didn't come with a replication sequence and the cells didn't divide and replicate, we would never have, first of all, become a body, but we would not sustain that body. Replication, duplication is the key to sustainability, not just growth. I mean, I'm not really growing much these days, except maybe this way, wide, horizontally, but technically I'm not really growing. I'm sustaining. So the body of your business is going to be sustained through duplication, replication. So what is it that it is required for duplication? Well, there's a DNA sequence. There's a certain thing that's built into every cell so that it remembers to replicate. And so what we need to look at is, what is that DNA sequence? What is that thing that we can all learn to do for replicating more consultants in the business? And of course, more customers as a consequence of that. But the primary focus of this is growth through duplication. So if you don't have a set pattern or a platform or an understanding of that, then that needs to become your goal, is to learn how to become very effective at duplicating. It's not just sponsoring. That's not duplicating. You can enroll 100 people and go absolutely nowhere. Maybe you might advance in rank for yourself, but you're never going to have the organization that we're talking about having, the kind of numbers that Dave and I enjoy. if you don't have replication, if you don't have a way for them to learn and do what you've learned to do. So that means we need a set of rules. We need a set of a basic understanding of things that we do to replicate best behaviors, best habits, best practices, and so forth. And the first thing I wanted to focus on where that's concerned, and by the way, if you haven't jumped into daverolf.com or the new program that he's offering, I really think you ought to. One of the things that I've always been an advocate of is training. I've been always one of the people developing training programs in NECAN. And I'm so relieved and so grateful that Dave has actually taken that on, because it's necessary. You cannot have a business of duplication if you don't have a system of duplication. And the only thing that we have as far as a system goes is education. You need to educate and replicate the education. Well, how many of you are excellent teachers? You know, fantastic coaches, and that's not duplicatable. But having a system like a book, like a video, like a training system, then what you have now is something that is replicatable, because all I have to do is point people to it. And then they can become students of that program and learn how to do it, what it is that we do. So kudos to Dave for putting this together. And I really encourage you to jump in and learn about it for yourself, because you're going to find that now that you have that as a tool, as a resource, that frees you from the responsibility of having to be the great teacher, the great coach, the great anything, because now you know you have a system you can rely on for the purpose of educating people into the know-how of the business and the business model. This is really critical going forward. And like I said, if I wasn't so lazy, I probably would have done it myself, but I'm way too lazy. But I have been working on some stuff I'm going to share with you. Dave, you might as well jump in on this.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, well, you know, here was the bottom line of, because today Michael and I had this little banter back and forth of retention and duplication, and you know, what's his viewpoint, what's my viewpoint. I throw in this, I throw in that, and really what became the standing was learning what to say and how to say it. How does the business work so you can think? I mean, if you look at it, it's, you know, what we do as individuals. We look at a situation. Let's say the plumbing goes out in your house. I know Michael has a house, I have a house, and if the plumbing went out, then we can think about, well, what do we do to solve that problem? However, in network marketing, because there's been such a lack of real hands-on training, like an education, like going to school, et cetera, it's a lot of bootstrap, you know, by the seat of your pants. You get out there and go make a mess, and you know, you might learn, you might not learn. You might have a ton of people you can talk to, and you talk to all of them, you don't know what to say right, and you blow them all away. And then somebody comes along and they do it right, and they get all the people in. And so it's like you're pulling your head out. Well, what do I do? So what was really frustrating to me in the last 8 years, I talked to a lot of people that were not successful, and I just, you know, picked their brains as to what they knew and what they didn't know. And that's what created the Smart Networker. Was simply, it's just a guide of, these are the things that you have to do. If you don't do them, it doesn't work. Nothing like rocket science or brilliance in the sense of, oh, this is the magic secret to open the door. So behind prize number 3, you get, you know, 350 distributors and you make $25,000 a month. No, it's not that. It's just straightforward. How, you know, what I learned in the course of doing business as an entrepreneur, as a business guy working in the sales industry. I was going to make a reference about what you said about retention and your guy with the you know, handing out products as your promotion and getting your brand and your PR. One of your prime objectives as an individual business is to make yourself known. And I remember reading a book many years ago called The Greatest Car Salesman in the World by a gentleman by the name of Joe Girard. And Joe Girard was in Detroit, Michigan, and he would sell an average of 3,500 cars a month by himself.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, he figured out a way to become known what he did. And everybody knew Joe Girard, like everybody knew Michael DiMuccio. I mean, it's the same concept, was he made himself known. And then that's what caused his, and it was PR, it was promotion, PR, promotion, PR, promotion, PR. And again, network marketing can be an extremely lonely business. You know, we get off these Zooms and we're by ourselves and there's nobody to talk to, and it's hard to think sometimes about what to do. And so the program, the Smart Networker, is designed 100%. Here's what you need to learn. This is what you need to do. Here are the exercises to practice. You're going to do the first exercise and you're going to say, Dave, where are you going with this? Let me tell you where I'm going with this. It's the backbone of our business. It's the language of numbers. And it's a topic that most people don't like. You know, most people say, oh, I hate numbers. I get frustrated with numbers. I don't read the compensation plan. I don't know what that is. It drives me nuts. And that's the backbone of your business. So you got to get over that. So it's learn what to learn, do, practice, do, learn, practice, do, learn, practice, do. And that's what the program is. So thanks for the endorsement. I know you've looked at it.
Yeah. I really am. I really am encouraging you guys to just jump in. You're going to think twice about that when you sponsor somebody. You're going to realize, wow, what a great thing to have as a resource, as an education that teaches people how this business works in simple language, by the way, easy to follow, very, very easy to follow. The videos are great. The way that the structure of the program has actually been put together, really excellent. So not complicated. I mean, I wouldn't be endorsing it if I didn't think it was a good idea. I think it's a great idea. So why? Because right now, my goal is to help this organization duplicate, which means multiply. Multiply means more people with an interest in being able to be viable in Nikken as a business. And so I've been focusing on tools development, which is usually where I start. I usually start my campaigns by revisiting the tools that are necessary in order to help market and promote Nikken. And what is the message that we're marketing and promoting? I usually create that for myself first so that I can actually start sharing Nikken and making it an opportunity for others to share what I share. So the language that I use, the images that I use that transfer a message or transfer an understanding, these are the things that I start with for me. And then, of course, I do it in a way that it's duplicatable. How do I do that? I partner with a publisher or whatever. Like we have lifeandbalancetools.net. Thank God for them, because they take on they do what Nikken does for the product delivery stuff. I come up with the idea of some of the graphics and throw it their way, and they do all the lifting. You know, they publish it, you guys order it, they ship it, and so forth. So you have some practical tools for promotion, including things like, you know, table drapes. If you're going to go into live meetings, you're going to want to have some stuff that makes your brand look legit. The worst thing you could do is to take the brand down. Do not make your brand look like you know, you're MacGyvering stuff together. It's a real legitimate brand, and the more professional it looks, the more you're going to have a better reputation. So with that in mind, let me share something I have shared with you. Let's see. So this has been shared. It is a PowerPoint, excuse me, it is a PDF of the presentation that I'm currently using in my live meetings. So I'm going to start to educate you on what I say by actually doing it. Not tonight. I just want to quickly just remind you, this is now a tool. Where you would find this tool, it's in the WhatsApp chats, in the tools WhatsApp chat, in the core consultant WhatsApp, pretty much every WhatsApp chat. It's been shared. I can share it again. But you can find it there. If it's been published and you've been on that chat since it's been published, you'll see it in the library of that chat. So essentially, notice the logo is the same as the weekly program that Nikken's running right now in collaboration with the consultants to educate the field and customers on the various categories of products. So we're trying to keep the branding somewhat similar. And the concept is a better way. So I'll walk you through this presentation another day where I'll actually deliver it, but I just wanted to point it out. It's there. One of the doodads on this thing is this slide here. If you first download this, when you get to this slide, the next click is going to set off a video, the video that Niken put out called Why Niken. If you're watching it for the first time, you're going to get, it's not going to play. What instead will happen is a banner will come, a yellow banner across the top of the screen, right above, right here, where the gray area is, that says something about trusted, the media that's been disconnected or whatever. You have to select under the options to play it, to trust the media. You can do it once or you can do it always. So next time you actually open it up, you won't have that error message. So as I play this, it'll play because I've opened it up and I gave permission. So now the video plays. So if you're doing a live meeting, this is a short video. It's a great brand video, tells the story in Niken's language, shows the visuals, the images. The reason why this is included is because it's credibility. You know, a picture's worth 1,000 words, a moving picture is worth 1,000,000 words. So this is a visual so that you have some credibility if you're showing this, whether you're at home, you can do this on your laptop, you can do this on a tablet, you can do this on your phone, actually, it works on your phone as well. This presentation walks you through a story. The story, the front end of this story, notice its focus is creating a reason for Niken to be in the world at large. And that is, what is the value that Niken has to offer the world at large, the customer base. It's the value proposition of our wellness solution, which, by the way, is really backed up by this slide here. This slide here is a powerful slide. This compares health and longevity of North America with Japan, our origins, where Niken's technology and philosophy originates. And it also does it on a comparative basis economically. We spend 3 times more than they do for the subject. We are oriented towards sick care. They are oriented towards self-care. The solution that we're all seeking, the real solution, is self-care. Hence, this creates a position for Niken as a prevalent Japanese company, origins from the healthiest nation on earth, that has the longest, the healthiest life expectancy and the lowest cost. And cost is a big factor in healthcare, especially in North America. So if you're looking to reduce cost, you've got to be looking at this as a solution. Self-care is the answer, and Niken is the company, the brand. And then once you've satisfied the need for a person to realize there is a viable product here, we don't stop here. This is not a product presentation. This is a business presentation. I have established the value of the product in the marketplace. Now comes, what's the value of the opportunity in the marketplace? Well, if you can see the value of the product in the marketplace, if we extrapolate that to the lives that can be affected, then you can start to talk about the business. And the first thing that we talk about in terms of a concept is, why is finance such a big issue for people? And that's because most people trade time for money. Whereas people who've learned to add value independent of time, these are people that can multiply time, multiply money, and create multiple sources of income. Hence, Niken is a vehicle for doing that, transitioning from a trading time for money scenario to creating multiple streams of income. And most people have careers. Most people have jobs. So if you pitch Niken as an alternate career or an alternate job, that might create pushback. But if you pitch Niken as a source of revenue, an alternate source of revenue, or where they can create many streams of revenue, every time they sponsor somebody, it's a stream of revenue, potentially. So this concept, the communication of this concept, becomes important if you're going to discuss business and an opportunity. You want to know, how is Niken relevant in the world of business, in the world of money making? Why is Niken worth talking about? Because it's a vehicle for creating multiple streams of income. We leverage a platform just like Amazon, just like Uber, only this one gives us the added advantage of being able to share it with others who can take advantage of it. I mean, if I became an Uber driver, I can't sponsor other Uber drivers and earn an income on that. But if I become a Niken consultant, I can sponsor other Niken consultants and earn an income from that. So it's an added advantage. But the simplicity of this slide is it's that simple. You got a phone, download the Share app, and you got a business. And so this goes into the details of that. This shows them a visual of how this works. Again, optics are important. We think in pictures. So it starts with you at the center, creating your own little business model, your own little customer base, and a few people that you've enrolled as distributors. But what happens if we duplicate? There's the key, duplicate. Then those 3 distributors duplicate that model, and they become 9 with customers. And then those duplicate, become, and so on, and so on, and so forth. And you see that our rank advancements are tied to the growth of our business this way. It's not about one person doing a whole lot, which is the old paradigm that they're coming from. It's about learning to do something, a thing, and duplicating it. So this is just a visual to help people understand how is it that people can earn the kind of earnings that's possible in network marketing. It's because the concept of duplication is what makes it possible. And if Niken is a company that's on the move, that's a company that's destined to make history, be a part of that. Be a part of that history in the making. And here's your business options. Okay, so that's the Niken presentation. Now, from this presentation,
Very nice.
gathered,
Michael.
yeah, go ahead.
Very nice.
Oh, thank you. Thanks,
Awesome.
Dave. I wanted to share from this presentation something that's now available as well. Let me just eliminate the right one. Close current tab. Okay. Let me see that you're getting the right one. Hang on. So there are important slides from that presentation that you're probably going to want to have on hand to give to the person so that when they leave, they have some memory of what we talked about. And back in the day, we had them in the form of cards, kind of a loosey-goosey way of doing it, but it worked, but not well enough. What if these were assembled in a more efficient way, a booklet? So we have this little 12 pager now that you can let them go home with that that'll give them a recap of what you talked about. So as far as what is it that I really need to learn about Niken, and if I'm going to pitch this as a business, here's the thread of cards that really tell the story. So first slide, of course, always begins with the first thing is, where does their mind start to engage? When do they actually become interested in what the heck we're talking about? When you become interested in what the heck they're about. When you first find out what it is that they want. And I know Dave and I are totally on the same page where this is concerned, because if you're not solving their problem, you're just a waste of their time. You know, nobody has time to waste these days. So you better be solving their problem, which means it needs to come up first things first. What is it? Was the problem that we're going to solve together that makes our time together worth investing the next 10, 15 minutes of our time? So here it is, this one pager. What I suggest you do, so that you don't become covetous of your little booklets, is you give that person a pen and say, I want you to put a check mark beside those 2 top priorities, 2 areas of your life that are most concerning to you right now that could really use some improvement. So this is going to be their booklet. You're marking it up with them because it's going to remind them of what it is that you talked about and why Niken may be of some interest to them, because it's their why, not your why. So now you've had that conversation. Where do we go from here? Well, we're going to, again, remember some of the highlights. We're not going to solve the problem of Rome in a day. It's about a compounding effect. A small change in our behavior, a small change in our choices can augment or compound over time to become a very significant change in our life. And that's the Niken way. Again, this comes to money. In the sense of money, we have to make a small change. We have to find a way to move from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So remember the presentation that we just talked about. It's in that presentation. Again, here's the card that can highlight that part of the conversation. And then the comparison, where does Niken fit into the world? The solution that we offer the world, is it needed? Is it necessary? Is it now? More than ever. When we zoom in on that a little bit closer, we see the areas of concern where health risk factors are, the body burden. Does Niken fit into this? These are the major effects of health, and Nikken is there as a solution where the product is concerned. So again, this is part of validating the product actually has a purpose. And it's not just some gizmo or some widget. It's a real solution to a very, very huge problem. You solve big problems, you make big money. And how does the system work? The system is really simple. These are the 5 steps in getting the thing going. We're online, we're on our phones. We can do this anywhere in the world. Like I was in Barbados doing it exactly like that woman on a beach. That was my life a week or so ago. So yeah, it's real, it's doable, and it can lead to great rewards. And most important, a system. And again, here's the visual where you can describe to that person and maybe get a little bit more into what that looks like from their point of view. Now, these last 2 slides I wanted to touch on because this comes back to a conversation we started: duplication and retention. Let me back for a second. This shows you a structure of people. On the left-hand side are people in your organization who are business builders, consultants, and this is their customers. There are 5 customers each, 5 or more, but these are their 5 loyal customers. Let's call them their most loyal customers, their auto-ship customers. Now, if volume moves through this organization, money is made. But what is the volume that's going to move through this organization? Is it once? They buy a waterfall and that's it? How do we cash flow this business? I love the analogy that Dave used that really lit me up, which was, imagine a Coke machine on every corner. And every time somebody goes to buy a Coke, bang, you get a nickel on that. Well, what's our Coke machine? What's our nickel? Where's the nickel coming from? What's the Coke machine? How is it spitting out stuff? And this is how it spits it out. Number 1, a person starts with something. They start their Nikken Wellness Home with something. But that something needs to be supported on an ongoing basis, their body. So it could be the auto ship program that we were talking about, probably is. The replacement filter cartridges, the nutritionals, any type of the consumables. That's monthly support for your wellness home. So you got initial startup of the wellness home, then the monthly support. But what else? Upgrades. How many of you upgrade your house? How many of you change the bathroom, change the shower, change the kitchen, do a new paint job, fix the roof, whatever, upgrades. In our case, we have upgrades. Upgrades, a person might start with a water bottle, advance on to the waterfall. Upgrade may include just adding more elements to their new skincare line or their nutrition base. Then there's the next piece. Anybody else in the house with you? Do you have any other users? Are you going to be the only one who gets the benefit from this, or are you going to start to share with the family? So there's additional users, which creates more uptake in the wellness home. And then product innovations. Whenever Nikken comes out with new products, it's an opportunity to start the engine over again and create additional volume. So this is the cash flow engine that keeps volume moving through those organizations constantly. And so be familiar with this, because if you're not familiar with this, you don't know where the money's coming from, the ongoing money that you want to ultimately have. And if you've got 1 customer, you've got a cash flow engine. Now, look at this chart, study this chart, and understand how that relates to. So when Nikken comes out with a promotion like they're doing this month, you're going to say, I know exactly where that fits. And then we start to have an understanding of how to take advantage of the Nikken activities, promotions, and so forth to feed the cash flow engine. And last image here on the back is, since I'm sitting down with this person, I want them to know what else they need to know. So far, we've had the why conversation, and we've touched on the how the products, the business, and the system can make their why a reality. There's still one more conversation that has to happen, which is the what. What's it going to take for me to get this thing going in my busy life and my busy schedule? That's the what conversation. And there's not a tool yet that I have available for you just yet, but there is one that Nikken does. They started with one, and it's the powerhouse. Powerhouse is one element of the what conversation. It's what does it take to get started? What can I get going on with right now that's going to generate some returns right away? So one element of that is the powerhouse. So you're going to see more of this as we reflect on this. I'm going to work with Dave on this piece because this is a really important piece. Is what is it going to take for me to get my life, that why, to happen? What's going to happen now in the next 30, 60, 90 days? What do I need to know? What do I need to do? What kind of investment, time, energy, and so forth? And so that's the what conversation. And to make that conversation a reality, what's probably going to happen is we're going to have that presentation live. So you will be able to bring prospects that you've gotten through this presentation up to this point into a meeting where you're going to hear some credible voices talk about the conversation of how we make this business work, the what part of this. And so that'll give them, we used to do this. I used to do this when I was doing my launch schedule. I would have this as a Saturday training. So this would be a Saturday training where I'd get into the what conversation. We may resume a Saturday training where that's concerned, more to be discussed, but that will then provide you with a platform, a place to bring people to where they can learn some of the fundamentals. Nikan right now has the program in play that you can learn about the Powerhouse program. And why am I directing to the Powerhouse? Well, because the Powerhouse is the program that was actually put in play this year that maximizes someone's earning potential in their first opening months of business. And if you want to validate that there's a business that works and that's viable, you've got to put money in people's pocket. And the best way to put money in people's pocket right now on Nikan, in Nikan, is with the Powerhouse program. It is designed for that reason. So we want to make sure that that becomes part of your normal. What's your normal? What's your routine? What's your go-to conversation? Powerhouse has to be your go-to conversation as far as getting people up and running as a business. Dave, any thoughts about that? Or what we talked about?
I just thank you so much for putting in the time to create this piece of information. I mean, this is just, one of those things that helps people with understanding what to do without having to worry about reinventing any wheels. It's just learn what it is, do it, learn what it is, do it, learn what it is, and do it. I'd love to see the training program come in between the last one, the what do you do now, let's get trained, and then go to work.
Yeah, well, that's definitely part of it, because there has to be that component. We're getting them on a conveyor belt. The conveyor belt is you're now on the entrepreneurial journey with Nikan. It's not just about getting started. That's the starting point, but it's about building an awareness, building an understanding, building a business and a long-term possibility. And so to the degree that someone's really interested, if somebody says, I just want to make a few $100 every now and then, they're probably not going to be too engaged in the back end, in the support and training and the events and whatnot. But if somebody's really serious, they will be. Yeah.
A quick question. How valuable is Botanis to you?
Wow. Half my income. Maybe
so
more.
There's a distributor that knew what to do, got educated, and went to work. That's what we're talking about. It's once you're in, it's no longer about you. It's about the next person. And it's what do they know or what don't they know becomes the issue. And so if we can make people see, and the challenge has been is people don't know what to do with this. They don't know how to think about it because the statistics have been relatively low for the majority. We want to change that viewpoint. It's not because they're not there. It's because they didn't know what to do. So if we can get that part in it, we've got a system that'll just go bananas. I think this is just the cat's meow. So there you go.
Well, there you go. So this is some of the promotional materials that are now available for you. By the way, that booklet, as I said, lifeandbalancetools.net, that's the supplier. And they've done it at a really good price. The reason why they stopped working with us for a while was because COVID really hit the printing business hard. And they were not viable. They were not able to supply at the prices that they were supplying at. And the whole print on demand model was just going out the window. So it took some time. It took quite a bit of time. It took also Nikan's involvement to subsidize. I I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you or allowed to tell you, but Nikken is subsidizing the cost of the catalogs. So if you're buying a catalog from Life and Balance Tools and you're paying what, I think $3 a piece, they're not costing $3. That's what you're paying, but Nikken is subsidizing that cost because they're very expensive to produce. So I want you to know that these tools are only going to be available if you use them. If you don't use them, they'll go away. But I do believe that we still need them, especially if we're going to re-engage people on a one-to-one basis, where your real meetings, your high productive meetings, the high yielding meetings are those where you meet people in person. I just think that I see a lot of stuff on the internet, on Facebook and whatnot. Oh, I sponsored 8,000 people in my team without having to talk to anybody. Right? Sure you did. I mean, yeah, you're telling me this because this that you're telling me is the way you're doing it. You're getting people who are in network marketing who think that there's a free ride if they hook up with you. And now I'm your prospect, the prospect you're prospecting me with, your little game. So that nonsense has been going on since I've been in the industry. There's no free ride. There's no free lunch.
No.
This is network marketing. It takes being smart about it. Yeah. So, and we're committed to this. Dave and I are really committed to your education because we know what's possible. We've lived it. Yeah. And we know that we haven't seen the best days yet. I believe the top network marketer, the top Nikken marketer hasn't even been sponsored yet because we're only now getting this stuff right. And so, I think with this kind of a platform, this kind of know-how, and with this kind of dedication, I know the way the law of the universe works. What you put in, you get out in spades. We're creating a harvest here. So I want to encourage you all.
One final message, Michael. If you think there are some issues and problems going on with Nikken right now, the best way we can solve them as a group is to go produce. The more we produce, the bigger we become, the more revenue Nikken has to solve the issues that it needs to solve. So
true.
I think, and I'm as dedicated to make this work as Michael is, and this is our mission. We both, had the benefit of just a wonderful, successful career, and we want others to have the same thing. At least that's my viewpoint. I think it's Michael's as well. So absolutely. If we buckle down, pull our bootstraps up, go to work, everything that you need now is there. We've got an education process, we've got a marketing process, and now we just have to do the do and just go do it. And it's very exciting. One last thing. I sponsored this new gal because of the powerhouse. And so I put her through the program, and she's now got 21 distributors in her first leg. And she calls me on Sunday. This girl was so excited. She found her second prospect that wants to build the business. And she was jumping through the roof. She was so excited about doing that. That reminded me of what it was like many, many years ago, when people saw this as a solution that they could really understand and get behind and do. Because if you do that, man, it's just like the best deal in the world. I mean, it's just unbelievable what we've got as an opportunity. So you're going to see more about her and her story, and I'll publicize the whole thing because I want you to understand what we're doing. And it's not that difficult. Anyway, thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Paul, you've got your hand up.
Yes. I mean, anybody who's presented with this properly, I don't know why they wouldn't become a consultant. The nice thing that Nikken has done is that in addition to the water packs, the energy pack, and the sleep pack, there are some smaller business packs. I need some help with the powerhouse because somebody who joins as a consultant is naturally going to be looking and going to be presenting to people who would want to become consultants right away. It's the first thing that they would do. So these retail sales, that waterfall sales, come from what kinds of people? Are they like people who say, no, I don't want to join a business, but I want a waterfall? Who are these retail people?
Oh, that's a great question. You know, if I look back at my launch in NECAN, I sponsored 26 people month one. Had I had this program in play and sponsored 26 people the way I did, I don't know, I had probably done 3 or 4, maybe 5 powerhouses that month, because not everybody is going to duplicate. Not everybody is going to do the full meal deal. And then I sponsored 9 the second month, by the way. But the point is, I wasn't concerned about what they were going to buy. It was part of their enrollment process. So right now, the way I feel about the powerhouse and how to enroll people, there's 2 ways to go about this. So if somebody says, I want to do this as a business, I might, for the sake of duplication, advise, then you're going to buy the waterfall as a customer. You're going to get your order in with that link I'm going to send you. And when you log into your account as a customer, there's a button that you're going to click to upgrade. You're going to upgrade your account. And that's when you're going to fill in all your information about, you know, your bank account and stuff and whatever. At that point, there's some packs I want you to look at. The packs for the business. Now, you might say, well, wait a minute. They could have bought the waterfall at wholesale or as part of the water pack. Yes, they could have. But if I want them to learn how to replicate maximizing the earning of the powerhouse, then I need them to go through the steps themselves. And what's a waterfall to somebody who's going to do this as a business, especially if it's a solution to the business problem, which is if you enroll somebody as a customer, you maximize your earning on that waterfall. So let me show you how that works by you doing it yourself. Now you own that information. Now that's something you've experienced, you own, you understand the process. So now what if they did that? What if they did that with everybody? They sponsor 10 people and all 10 people go through the exact same process. That means you've created 10 waterfall customers as retail customers. And then let's say a third of them upgrade. A third of them upgrade to consultant, buy their pack. Now you got 3 who've done 500 points, hit the senior level. You got 9 customers, 3 who enrolled and signed up. That's 3 powerhouses. And a silver ship probably in that.
Yeah, I understand that strategy. Absolutely. Thank you. I mean, some people don't have that vision to say, okay, it takes a really good understanding to understand why go through these machinations. Not everybody's there, but
no, this is a business question. You're saying, Mike, what would I do now with what I know now, with what I have at my disposal right now? That's what I would recommend. I would tell the person, you're doing this for a business, then I'm going to show you how to maximize the earning with the powerhouse, because that's our program for launching people. So I'm going to launch you with that program. I'm going to take you through that so that you can duplicate that. And the duplication is, if they're doing that, remember, they're earning the extra money on every waterfall. So what's their income that month? And if they get a big check that month for having done this, and they're now teaching that, they're duplicating that with the people who want to duplicate, this is a total win-win scenario. It takes all the confusion out. Now you might say, well, where's the packs come in? When they enroll, they buy a pack, buy a business pack, buy a water pack, buy a sleep pack. I don't care what pack you buy 3 of them. As a customer, same thing. For a customer, if a person wants a waterfall, then I'm going to send them the waterfall link. If a person wants a water pack, I'm going to send them the water pack link. If they want a sleep system, I'm going to send the sleep system link. They're going to buy what they want to buy. I'm going to emphasize what I'm going to emphasize. So NECAN doesn't tell us what to focus on, but we can, as a business owner, focus on something. And right now, the powerhouse is the focus for making money, not for saving money, for making money. Dave.
Okay.
You know, what's really important here, Paul, is the concept of why we introduced this idea to Nikan to begin with, was it was the ability to communicate a solution that was viable. So your first job with anybody is to find out what's needed and wanted. And if you make yourself known that you're developing a business and you're attracting the business builder, then part of that conversation is what Michael just talked about, is you sit down and here's how it works, guy. And it's like, this is what you need to do. Now, that's exactly what I did with my gal, because that's what we designed. So she became a customer in January, a distributor in February, and away we went. Now she's doing the same thing. And she's making the money, and her people are doing the same thing, and they're making the money. So it's a matter of understanding how it works and then applying that to the circumstance or situation. And like what Michael said, and you know, if the person's just a retail customer, then you send them the link, they buy the waterfall. But my focus was anybody I talk to, I really want them to be a distributor first, but I'm going to get them to be a customer through this program. I want to teach them. And if they learn, there's the duplication, guess what they're going to do? They're going to rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. That's the whole object of the ad. And they're going to become a botanist. That's how it works. We've been doing that I've been doing it since 1975. That's how it works.
And by the way, Paul, don't forget, once they're in and they start to get involved in the culture and all the other stuff that we do in Nikan, and they start to embrace that, then all the other products are going to be products that they're going to eventually buy anyway. Aren't we Nikan's best customers? So that's that cash flow engine that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So I don't worry about that, the back end, because I know that back end's there. What I'm more concerned about is duplication. If we don't have the DNA operating correctly, you're going to get cancer cells. You're not going to get healthy replicating cells. We want to get something that's replicatable, that's duplicatable, that creates the maximum bang for your buck. And that's the Powerhouse program to get people initiated into Nikan. But the back end is so rich that if we follow through on that, if we continue to follow through on that, Nikan continues to follow through on that, there's going to be additional purchases over time. As they go for rank advancements and all the stuff that happens, they're going to have a full Nikan wellness home in no time.
There's another exercise to do, is add up how much money you spent in Nikan. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, it's true. But what drives that behavior? It's not just the value of the products. We all love the products. It's the value of the opportunity and our involvement in that opportunity. You know, I was telling the team earlier tonight, I'm doing a little project with the Quebec group and I'm investing. And I said, you know, in all of the businesses I've invested in, I've never had a better return on investment than my Nikan business. I have no hesitation to invest in my Nikan business. So that's why we're doing the tools.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks everybody for joining. I hope you got something of value here. I know it was sort of one-sided tonight, but I needed to do a data dump. And so now we have some tools. By the way, those booklets and that presentation, thank you, Geeta, because she was helpful today and the last couple of days to help me do the Spanish translation. So we have it in English, French, and Spanish. All three, can you imagine? All three are available.
And Hita is translated the Smart Networker, and she's the facilitator for the training program.
Awesome. Look at that.
Spanish. Yeah.
Fantastic. Of course,
Gracias.
We have some new silvers emerging from the Latin market in North America, sponsoring in North America. So that migration is starting to happen, folks. That's really good news.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for tonight. We'll send the recording of this shortly. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dave. Have a good night.
Thanks, Michael. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you both.
Thanks, Mike and Dave.